In this video, we're gonna talk about how to use Spotify's API to programmatically grab the top songs from all of the artists that are gonna perform at Coachella this year. If you're interested in checking out the playlist, check out this link and the link in my description box for this video. And you can just skip the hassle, or you can follow along this video to see how I did it. So let's get started. Hello, music lovers. It's April again, which means it's Coachella season again. If you are planning to go to Coachella this year, I already scoped it out for you. The lineup is so good. I actually already looked up how many artists there are out there, and you're not gonna believe this. There are 249 artists this year in the Coachella lineup. So if you're preparing for your itinerary for Coachella, this can be a little bit overwhelming. But in this video, we're gonna talk about how we can generate a Coachella playlist programmatically so you can experience all the artists and make your choices on who you want to chase after during the live event. Without further ado, let's get started. There are a couple of prerequisites to this program. First of all, you do need to set up a Spotify web app so that you can communicate with the Spotify API. So, first step is that you're going to go to the Spotify for Developers website so you can set up your own web app. So you can call yours anything that you like, but the concept is you should set up a web app so that you have all the credentials needed for you to connect to Spotify's API through your program. Okay, once you have that, then you can direct yourself to this GitHub repository that I created 5 years ago, which is called Izu Play. As you can probably guess from the title, I created this repositories to get myself prepared for Izu 5 years ago. And even 5 years later, this still stands. And let's explore how we can generate a whole Spotify playlist with all the 249 artists that performed at Coachella this year. Okay, one thing, of course, is we need to gather all the artists who are performing. So I wrote a very simple JavaScript in the web browser. So all I did was that I searched for Coachella lineup 2024. And then I wrote a little program here, as you can see, to gather all the names from this lineup. Okay, so that's how I knew there are 249 artists, which is an astonishing large number of artists, which is great. So if you take a look at the different slices underneath this array of artists, then you can see all the 249 artists. So what I did is no secret, I just copied over all these 249 artists and I put it into this text file. So this is the text file that you will find, or you can edit your own text file so you're gathering list of artists that you want to get their songs from. Okay, so how do I get into this folder? So I'll direct you to my GitHub repository. First step, you do need to copy this repository. So if you already have GitHub set up on your terminal, then you can just use this line of code to clone my repository to your local desktop. However, if you do not have GitHub downloaded, you can also just go here, click on code, and then download everything as a zip file, and you can unzip it to have access to all the code that I have here. Okay, so the README gives you some step-by-step instructions on how to run it, but let's walk through this together. Okay, so we already finished step 1. And then this optional step is to create your own list of artists. So if you want to repurpose this repository for something that is not Coachella, feel free to just copy over a list of artists that you're interested in into this text file under the data folder. And then the program that will run together will read the information from this file to gather songs from the list of artists that you provided. Okay, Now we can progress into step number 2, which is to create a virtual environment for our program. The benefit of this is that we can run our programs without interfering any of the normal programs of your laptop. So for example, here I am in a base environment right now, but in the right folder. So I copied over this Izu Play folder, as you can see. Make sure that you're in the right folder, otherwise the program will not run because it wouldn't be able to read the different levels of folders in your desktop. Okay, so once you're in the folder, we're gonna change our virtual environment. Okay, a couple of things are gonna happen. Because I already have an environment file, it's a YAML file, so what it will allow us to do is to download a list of libraries so that you will have the right tools to run your program. Okay, so let's run this together. And feel free to rename the virtual environment anything you like, so replace the name you like with the virtual environment you want. And of course, in this case, I'll just say that I want to call it Coachella. It will start compiling and downloading all the packages, and you'll be all set once this line of code has finished running. Okay, but this is gonna take a moment. Maybe it's actually gonna be faster than I thought, but it's collecting packages, it's solving for the environment, it's preparing the transactions, and so on and so forth. Great. So while this is running, I'll show you what my Spotify playlist is like right now and tell you what everything is going to look like when the program finishes running. Okay, so let me take you to my Spotify. Welcome to my Spotify. I already have this playlist called Coachella 2024. Actually, I created this playlist with the program as well, but I just wanted to create something first to make sure that I tested out that the program is still running. So far, we have about 300 songs. Okay, so remember, I'm gonna grab the top 5 songs from all of the 249 artists if they do exist on Spotify. So that means that I should have about 1,000 songs. Definitely do not have that many yet, but it's already about 17 hours of music. So this is already pretty exciting. But let's see, the headliners, Lana Del Rey is already included, and then it goes so on and so forth because there's so many artists, so much music to explore for this year's Coachella. And if I scroll all the way down, okay, I want to see where my playlist has ended. So it has ended with Sam Gallatry. So this is the last artist that I got songs from. So far we have about 5 songs per artist, and we must have about 60 artists already, but there's still more than 100 artists to go. So what we're gonna run together is we're gonna run the program and add some more songs into this playlist. Okay, so seems like it's gonna take a moment for my virtual environment to install. So while we're waiting for that, I'm gonna walk you through some prerequisites again. Okay, so one thing that's very crucial is for you to create this environment file, which will have all the credentials you needed and some parameters that you probably want to put in. Okay, so all of the top 4 environment parameters are the ones that you're going to use for authenticating your Spotify. Okay, so the username is your Spotify username, client ID, client secret, and redirect URI are the things that you can find on your Spotify web app. Okay, so once you copy that over, you can replace that with the whatever string, and our program that we're gonna run later will read into this environment file for you to be authenticated. Okay, and then there are 2 parameters that I want to talk about. One is the playlist name. So you can choose any name that you want for your playlist. Ideally, it has a different name than the ones that you already have. Okay, so for me, I chose Coachella 2024. So that's why I was able to get this playlist that's called Coachella 2024 right here. And you can name yours anything you want. And another thing that you can pass in is the number of songs. So this is actually mandatory because I updated my program. So you can choose anywhere from 1 to however number of songs you want from each artist. I defaulted to 5 just so that we'll have a good spread of songs that we can sample from each artist, but also not having too many songs that is overwhelming. So even with about 250 artists, for 5 songs per artist, that's already about more than 1,300 songs. So that's a lot of songs to listen to. So choose carefully how many number of songs you want from each artist. Okay, so this is in a secret environment file so that your information wouldn't be shared with anybody else. Okay, so you want to make sure that they're securely stored in your local desktop. Okay, and from here, we're going to go back to our terminal. Seems like our Coachella environment has finished installing, so I can exactly do what it has told us to do here to activate our Coachella environment. That sounds so exciting. And as you can see, as soon as we started running that, we're in this Coachella environment instead of our base virtual environment. So we have finished our step number 3 already. And assuming that you've already set up your environment file, which will really just have these 6 lines with actual information from both your Spotify web app and from your input on what playlist you want to call your new playlist and how many songs you want per artist. Okay, so once you input all these 6 parameters, we can just simply run our program. Okay, this is super exciting. Okay, so I'm gonna copy over this 1 line of code and I'm gonna put it into my terminal and I'm just gonna wait for it to run. So a couple of things have happened. Okay, so if you go back to our folder, there's one more file that is being created. So it's called the playlist log. So this log will give us information while the program is running on how the program is going. Okay, so first it got access to Spotify. So our credentials worked from the environment file and it started gathering 5 songs per artist. So if we go back to the artists that we have earlier, Party Boy 69 is the second artist. And then we can see that in our logs, we got 5 songs from our Party Boy 69. So there you go, Party Boy. One thing that I do want to note is that there is a rate limit for using the Spotify API. So what I hard-coded in this code, in this program, is that we're gonna stop the whole program after 100 songs, okay? So that's to make sure that we don't hit the rate limit of Spotify. Okay, so we got a message saying that we have a new mail, which is actually the fact that we have finished running. Okay, so if we look into the log, it does say that we finished adding 100 songs. So is that right? Let's check it out. This is so exciting. We'll go to our Spotify playlist and I'm gonna refresh. So when I refresh, it's gonna tell me that now we have 400 songs, about 23 hours, so a whole day of music. And let's see, so of course, our girl Lana Del Rey is still headlining. And then if we go all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, it's gonna take a minute because now we have 400 songs in our playlist. And we see Grims as the last artist that we grabbed some information about. Okay, so if we go back, we definitely have Grims here. And Grims is a headliner for Coachella. In case you don't believe me, let's check it out. Grims. Let's view all. And then Grims is right there. So I'm gonna give you the link to my Coachella playlist in the description box for this video. But in this short 15 minutes, we already were able to grab 400 songs from the artists who are performing at Coachella this year. So if you're interested, give this program a try, and throughout the next couple of days, I'm gonna fulfill the playlist a little bit more so that you will have the top songs from all of the 249 artists who are on Spotify, of course, in this playlist. I hope that you enjoy, and if you are going to Coachella, happy Coachella, and I'll be jamming to all these songs so far, a whole day of songs, until we see each other next time. I'll see you next time. Bye!